I was like tunnel vision, seeing stars seconds away from blacking out. 15 to 20 foot of whitewash wash-throughs just coming from the horizon.
G'day guys, welcome to the second episode of Peak Podcast. I'm your host Ben Sanford. Today I'm joined by Sam Venn, who's an incredible surf photographer and also an owner of the Studio Hour creative agency based out of Cronulla that I'm currently sitting in. I'm looking forward to sharing some of his stories with you today. He's an incredible dude, and he actually sparked my interest in photography. So when I was about 12, 13, we were down at Bendalong Beach, which is on the south coast here in New South Wales. Convinced me to go grab my parents' camera, and we went and shot this beautiful sunset over the bay. Probably not my best photo, but I'll find it for you. Chuck it up here. And yeah, as you can see, it was just one of those sunsets with a little gap in the clouds, and then the whole sky lit up. And I remember just that was really cool. And the fact that Sam was taking all these really cool surf photos really inspired me to just shoot our adventures climbing and kayaking. And pretty cool that we're both living off this career full time now and doing what we love. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of his adventures and stories with you, and plenty of insights into what it's like as a surf photographer and getting pumped by some big waves. Let's get into it.
Alrighty. Ben, here we are. I just remember the depot days as well, camping down there and Hopper's Coffin and swimming out to that little island. I didn't even know there was a wave right next to us. Like, we just spent every summer down there camping and adventuring and exploring and running around rocks and swimming and surfing. And yeah, they were good times back then. We were just little grommets working everything out.
It was awesome. I remember we were doing some star trails and all that funny stuff to do when you first start doing photography.
Playing with slow shutter stuff and working out camera settings, yeah.
Yeah, and even all of our friends would help us out, and everyone was really excited by it.
Yeah.
Not something I've done for a very long time.
No, but that was us just working cameras out pretty much. And
yeah, it was wicked.
That was fun. I remember that exact, the Sparker days, creating like sparkles on strings to swing it around in different shapes and just making weird photos and fun stuff.
Absolutely. When was your start of the photography for you? Like, when did you first pick up a camera?
A grommet, just shooting mates surfing pretty much. I was, I don't know, 14, 15, and just had these little Olympus tough cameras that were waterproof to just go out on the weekends and shoot my mates out at Reef Power in Bundina and just roll around in the rocks, like shallow little bodyboarding slab. That's all we had close by to us, but we'd spend every waking moment out there, and I'd just be capturing the Baker boys and other mates out there just with this camera that pretty much broke every month because I was taking it out into surf, and you weren't meant to take it into heavy waves or like underwater deep. And Mum just kept contacting Olympus like, oh, it's broken again. I reckon I went through like 4 or 5 of these little Olympus cameras, and just evolved and got better equipment, got housings for digital SLRs, and always had an Aquatech pretty much 6 or 7 now I'd be up to. And yeah, just progressed from surf photography into the commercial world organically, just kind of met people in the industry and got different clients in different worlds and just evolved from there pretty much.
Wicked. I remember the start of my career officially. I'd just finished my HSC and I had my ABN registered, and I had this little, I think it was called Altex. It was like a shitty little rubber housing on the Canon 7D.
Yeah.
And I was at Bendalong snorkeling, and it leaked. And the stuff, basically had no camera.
Yeah.
For the very first phase of my official business opening, so that was pretty depressing.
It's the worst feeling, especially at that age when you just like don't have any money. It's like you get this little camera and that's your life, that's your world, and then you just like, any dollar I make, I was putting it aside to get another lens or another camera. Like, just any little job I had was just going towards photography and getting equipment that was going to kind of improve my photos. Like, and one little leak, one little broken camera meant you couldn't shoot that weekend, which was just like, at the time, felt like the worst thing ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, like how you're supposed to make money without the tool.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good lesson. It was funny. That's probably the last time one of the few times I've shot in the water.
Yeah. Have you got a housing yet?
Nah, I've hired a couple from the front.
Yeah.
Past, but
nice.
I haven't done it pretty scared to put the red in the housing.
Yeah, being pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
I know it's hard with the fans and overheating and everything. Like Cam and Jules, everyone has their own specific methods to not have it fogging up because it's a nightmare with those fans. But look epic when you dial it in. That's pretty cool.
I know my insurer specifically asked me if I shot surf stuff, and I said no.
You definitely want to, if you're going to put it in a housing, let your insurer know. It's like very high risk.
The snow is pretty rough on the cameras. I've had a red dragon died in the snow.
Yeah, you were telling me before, that's hectic.
Not the best, but that's all right. That's part of it. And they're just tools.
Exactly. Mine's leaking at the moment, actually. I've got to get down Aquatech to fix it.
Oh, damn.
It's like, there was a swell last weekend. I went to set it up and I was like, shit, I can't get out there. There's like little cracks in the backplate.
Fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to know when you first went full time. Like, what was that phase like for you? I know for me, it took 3 years out of school doing like other jobs, laboring and working in tourism before I could fully transition to full time.
Yeah, for sure. Or during school, Mum was kind of pushing me. She knew I loved taking photos of surfing on the weekend, this and that. And anything I could, I was taking photos of. So she contacted the local newspaper to see if I could do work placement. So John Veach, massive legend, another surf photographer, led the charge at the Leader and Fairfax Media for photography. So during high school, I was doing some work placements. I think I did like 3 lots where I just went out and learned the ropes basically with VG and the other photographers there, and pretty much left school when I was 18, like finished year 12 and got offered a job pretty much straight away at the paper. So then I went into working casual part-time, so like 3 days a week for Fairfax. So that was out of the advertiser in Campbelltown and here locally at the Leader. So pretty much from school, that's where my professional career began. And just from then, like I said before, just met other people in the industry. The surf photography world is crazy. Like there's so many guys in the industry, gaffers, photographers, grips, everything. There's so many surfers and it's such a well-tied world that like you get talking and people need a photographer for a certain job and then just get you on board and it just kind of snowballed from there. Like Sully introduced me to Car Advice where I shot 5 years part-time for them, and just they were an editorial website, and I got a whole lot of automotive experience just shooting all day every day with them. That was kind of an into the automotive world, which is really helpful, and yeah, it was kind of where my career kicked off. Was straight out of high school, went to the newspaper, and Fairfax 2 years later did a whole bunch of redundancies and I lost the job there, but I had enough work with Car Advice to keep me going. Yeah, that's pretty much where the career kicked off.
Yeah. And you studied?
Yeah, so straight out of school, I did a 2-year diploma. I did a diploma in photo imaging. I did that with my mate, Nick Coleman, now employee with the company Studio. He's full-time with us as a videographer. So we studied back then when we were 19, 20 at Ultimo TAFE. We did our full-time diploma in photo imaging, which was great. Learned a lot. Studio shooting, lighting, film photography and developing in labs and all that. It was a really good course. It was great to just, learn everything technical pretty much. And it was good growing alongside Nick. Like from the start, we've just been shooting similar things and always bounced off each other creatively. And it's cool to be able to work alongside him full time now.
Yeah, it's unreal. You guys came together again.
Yeah, really
this
cool.
Stage.
Yeah.
Through Studio Hour as well. And we'll talk about that in a sec. I just wanted to mention there's no like set pathway into photography as well. Like I know for me, I assisted quite a lot, and I think you mostly just shot and figured it out on your own.
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas for me, I owe a lot to a bloke named Brett Hemmings, who's an incredible shooter. He specializes in sports and advertising photography, but very diverse and has shot pretty much everything. I assisted quite a lot of different shooters over the years, and Brett was always meticulous and very technical in his shooting and just a good person to be around. He's always been very supportive and lended me gear over the years when I had bigger shoots and didn't quite have all the equipment or quite a bunch of my stills kit at the moment is some of Brett's old lights, and I'm definitely grateful for the guidance and teachings I've received from Brett over the years. Early in Brett's career, he was really well known for his wakeboarding photography, and as a teenager, I was into wakeboarding and I worked down at the wake park in Penrith, and someone told me I should reach out to Brett, so I sent him an email, and like a lot of my connections came from that one email, which is pretty cool. I was thinking recently, like one email can change your whole trajectory.
Yeah, similar with my music photography career, because I shoot a lot of events and festivals. That started from one email. That was just cold emailing, I wanted to shoot everything I could, like what was cool that I could get my foot in the door with and shoot. And I just sent all these emails out, and then eventually it took like 6 to 8 months that Mosh Sticks got back to me and were like, oh, we need a photographer to shoot this gig. And I would have been like just 18 at that point, and just went to these small gigs that Mosh Sticks were selling tickets to, and then that evolved to shooting 3 Splendors and still shooting for Listen Out and Field Day and those big festivals. And that was just from a cold email, just like, hey, here's some work, like probably just surf photos and a couple of events that I'd probably assisted for or something, and just evolved into bigger, better things. Just as long as you're out shooting, I feel like that's where you're learning most, if it's assisting or just shooting for fun. Like as long as you're out using a camera and loving it, then it's just going to kind of evolve.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was wondering, what do you find is one of the most difficult things in the surf for you when you're shooting? Like I know with snow, it's always you got to keep your lenses clean and your batteries warm at your chest, or there's like little tricks like licking the lens and stuff.
Well, first is keeping water out of your housing. I've had a rough trot the last little bit with this housing, but yeah, water on the port is a big one. Just you've got another layer of glass in front of your lens, which you need to then filter water off. And there's 2 different methods, like the wet port and the dry port method, depending if you've got a wide angle or a zoom lens on. So like physically spitting on the port and lubricating the front so that millimeter of water stays on the front of the port, so that you can shoot through that for fisheye and wide angle. And then I actually was talking to this guy in the surf about how his methods, and he was telling me about his earwax method with dry port, because you basically need an oil or a wax so that water beads off the front like seamlessly. And he's like, yeah, just get whatever you can oily, your hands, your fingers, your earwax. So he's like scraping his earwax and rubbing it on the front of his port. I was like, yuck, that's gross. I was licking that port a few weeks ago using a different method, but that works really well. It just like beads off perfectly off the flat port. Yeah, that's probably like technically the biggest issue, I guess, is keeping water off the front of the port, and also just managing the swim. Like the swim is such a challenging thing, like in big conditions. Like I love shooting heavy water slabs, and it's like you're competing with these monsters of waves to try and kind of get around in the water, and that's just a big enough challenge itself, let alone try and operate your camera settings and everything else.
Yeah, for sure. We'll touch on that in a second. I was just thinking, I wanted to start the episode with like some of your close calls in the surf. One of the main challenges obviously is surviving. And to anyone listening on the podcast, I actually am running this on like a visual output as well on YouTube. So we'll add some shots of Sam so you can actually get an idea of the scale of some of these waves he's swimming around in and getting pulled into. If you can tell me some of your close calls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, pretty like life-changing moments, I think. I had a pretty eye-opening experience down in Victoria, this big heavy slab down there called Lunas. It was mainly a bodyboarding wave for years. When I was growing up, there was only a handful of stand-up surfers game enough to surf it. It's getting pretty well surfed now. We were down there for like 3 days chasing this mega storm, and it was just like too big to surf it for these 2 or 3 days. We were with Alvino, who's from Tahiti, from Chopu, really game bodyboarder. Just wanted to throw himself into any conditions possible. And we're like, no, it's not right. Like it's dangerous. Third day came, we had to leave that day. We had to drive home. It's like a 14-hour drive home. So we were like, we'll check it early, see what it's like. It was nasty. It was like crazy red sunrise. I just think it's like red in the morning, shepherd's warning. It was a scary morning. We watched it for probably 5 minutes and saw like a handful of good ones. Probably should have watched it a little bit longer. There was like big wash throughs as well as the perfect ones, but we just suited up, ran straight down, and it was just, glowing. The sky was this crazy red. Suited up and got out there, and there was probably six of us out. I was shooting, so I'm like a few hundred meters away from the buoy, so I'm not very close. They're in a pack out on the boil. surfing and I'm down on my own in this shark infested water at the bottom of Australia. It's just like you're literally as far south of Australia you can get down there, and you just feel so open and secluded. It's just like a rugged coastline where there's nothing around. Like if something happens, you're calling a helicopter and it's probably going to take an hour to get to you. And yeah, it was probably like we were only in the water for like 10, 15 minutes. There was like one set that held on the reef. It was crazy. We were all losing it. And it was like, that was mental. Got a few good shots of that. And then it was like something just switched and there was just these whitewash wash-throughs just coming from the horizon. Like you couldn't see anything but whitewash from the horizon. And so these waves were probably like 15 to 20 foot of whitewash, like nowhere to go. You're like cornered. So you could try swim down. The other guys had boards, so they had something to float them basically. So they'd swim down, their board's still going to swim, like bring them to the surface. But I had nothing. I had just me, my camera and my flippers. So I like tried to swim under the first one and just like this whole room, I just feel like I was getting pulled from left to right from like 30 seconds to 45 seconds. I couldn't go anywhere. Like it was just clouds of turbulence underwater. I didn't know which way was up. I had nothing to float me. So I was just like not even fighting at that point, just getting ripped left to right. I eventually like got to the surface, had one big breath of air. Later found out better breathing techniques probably get more air to my lungs for the Harper technique. Yes, a big wave surfer was like, this is a technique. Next time if that happens, you'll get more air to your lungs. But one breath of air, another exact same wave, another 15 to 20 foot whitewash wave, just straight on the head. Turbulent, just again, left to right. Got up for one more breath and there was a third. So it was like a big 3-wave set of just wash-throughs. And then by that last one, I was like tunnel vision, seeing stars, like seconds away from blacking out. If I had to black it out, I was like, by that point, 500 meters away from the others. I would have been upside down, probably drowned. Yeah. And luckily just came up and was gasping, like I was in a bad way. And that fourth one of the boys caught a wave like straight over to me. The other boys were like scattered along the coastline. Like there was 3 dudes a kilometer away from me. There was like another dude on the other side, like another 300 meters south from me. It was like everyone was just scattered along the coastline. One of the guys swam up to me, was like, "You right?" And I was like, "No, I'm fucked." I'm like, "This is hectic." And then just jumped on his board and he swam me in. And then the 6 of us got in and just did a head count. We're like, is everyone here? That was like, Jack was down the cliffs like a kilometer away, just walking along the rocks. Like we all literally just got swept in from this whitewash of water. Counting our lucky stars that we were all okay. And I was, from that point, told myself if I was going to swim in those conditions, have an impact vest or a pool vest or have a jet ski around or something, because that was like silly for us to be out there with like no safety or anything. Yeah, especially just the remoteness. If anything happened, it's like you can resuscitate someone, but then if there's water in the lungs, and it's bad. But I was pretty scarred. I didn't go back to that wave for another like 3 years or something. I've been back since, but I'm well more calculated. Yeah. Just like watch it for a long time before we actually get out there. I just feel like that really gave me the knowledge to just be more calculated in the future. Any conditions I'm going out, I'm like, are there skis around? Do I have anything to float me? What's the actual conditions? Like, is it deep water that I can swim under these waves if they're really big? Because like Ship's Turns and Chopu, they're all like big channels where you can actually like swim deep to get under these waves. But this wave's like, it's not really a channel. The waves that break are bigger than the ones that actually hit the reef. So it's like dodgier to actually be on those.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it was heart's racing talking about it. It was,
That's nasty.
it was a scary time for sure. And yeah, Chopu and Tahiti was another one that was like mega. It was 15-foot Chopu, and there's a pretty defined channel. Like you're kind of okay. You're not like having waves break on your head like nonstop like that. But you're kind of battling with these boats out there. It's like all these tourist boats and media boats, these big propellers like right next to you. They're like, you're swimming around, no board or anything, like trying not to get churned up by a propeller, also trying to dodge 15-foot waves. And that's, just one of the struggles as well, that wave. But it's beautiful out there. It's so incredible in Tahiti.
Yeah, you see sometimes the boats mess up out there.
Yeah.
Looks pretty horrible.
We were there when Chris Bryan and a few others got slung out of the big yellow speedboat. They left it too late, knifed the lip, and like 3 guys got flung out. 3 guys. Chris held his Phantom, luckily he didn't lose it. But who lost their cameras? Ted Grambo lost a camera. A few other guys lost a camera. They were getting picked up by the safety because they got thrown out of the boat. That was the same day that I was swimming around trying to dodge the boats alone. So if they're punching through lips, it's like they're very close to the wave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Damn. Were they all motion or still as well?
Ted was shooting stills and Chris's motion with the Phantom.
Yeah, I'd hate to lose that.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he luckily didn't. But we had a story and a laugh to have at the end of that day because we're all staying together. So it was like, that was wild.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the cameras can definitely be a negative. People think, oh, you're just shooting, so it's fine. A lot of people think, for me, I don't even climb. There's not a helicopter plane for me to be here. I got to climb that shit too.
Yeah, exactly. We're just as much in it as the others. Like shooting surf, you're swimming under every single wave that breaks on the reef. Full credit to surfers. It's absolutely crazy that they're throwing themselves into these waves. But they're catching one, maybe 2 or 3 waves in a big gnarly session, but photographers are swimming under every single wave that breaks and like in the impact zone for hours. Exactly. Yeah. The same as you're climbing mountains and doing exactly what that athlete's doing. Like true athlete yourself. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know sometimes with rock climbing, I'd prefer to be rock climbing than shooting if I'm like hanging in the middle of space or something and there's not enough rope protection and it's like sharp edges, and you don't sometimes bring a little bit of canvas to protect those edges, but you might just be swinging and knowing like there's one edge on that rope you don't like, and if it just it doesn't take much when a rope's loaded. If you just even if you get another rope and just rub it on it, it'll with the tension they can pop pretty quick.
I thought they were built for that. I had no idea.
There's some people use like a steel core rope, but I'm not that hardcore on my photography. It's like more weight, and definitely sometimes I'd prefer to be climbing than like hanging out there in space because it's just such an eerie feeling. And then sledding's probably one of the least fun things to have a camera with because you got 20 kilos on your back and you got to jump around heaps and you just get stuck easier if you fuck up and skiing sucks for the bag.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Yeah, it's a challenging thing. I don't know how you get around in the snow with camera gear. It's challenging for sure.
It's not always fun. That's for sure.
Just throwing ourselves in crazy elements with camera gear.
Yeah, absolutely. But they usually hold up pretty well. Yeah. Mostly.
Yeah, they're pretty weather sealed. People worry when they see my cameras out in the rain. I'm like, you don't know half of it. It's like this thing's got coated on the back of a jet ski punching through lips. So it's like, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, CPS probably say different when I take it in. They go, it's all corroded inside.
Yeah.
I had no idea how that would happen.
Just randomly happened. Yeah, I remember I've assisted some fashion photographers and they'd get so pedantic about the smallest bit of water on a camera. I'm like, your camera's going to be fine.
It's fine.
Especially like people that shoot motocross, that's probably the worst thing.
Yeah, dust in cameras, yeah.
Horrible. I know for Namibia, Cam told me not to bring any of my gear.
Yeah, right.
He's like, we've got it. Don't bring anything of yours. It will just get flogged. Dust just gets everywhere in those sandstorms. So I was going to ask, what's one of your favorite waves in Oz, or just like, if you're even in Cronulla now, like what's one of your favorites? Is it Shark Island or?
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be Shark Island. Yeah, it's just the wave I've grown up on. It's right there. It was a ferry ride across when I grew up in Bundeena, so I'd have to get the first ferry over at 6 a.m. and be out the island at 6:30. But yeah, it's just the most beautiful wave when it's working. It's like a 4-foot perfect roll into a big 8-foot slab on its day. And it's just like an amphitheater for Cronulla. Like it's just sticks out on the end of like a peninsula here at Cronulla Point, and it's just like perfection. And Cronulla holds some of the best waves in the world, in my opinion. Like we've got Voodoo and Cape Solander all within like 10-15 minute drive, and they all work in like similar conditions but different. So we get a big swell with good enough winds, one of those three waves are going to be like world class. So Cronulla holds like some pretty special waves for sure.
Yeah.
But definitely the island, it holds a special place in my heart. Yeah.
Have you had any close calls on the island?
Plenty. I'm covered in scars. Literally, like got a big scar on my back, ripped half my finger off out there to get a skin graft onto my fingernail to replace that. Just like, it's beautiful, but it breaks on water that's this deep. So it's like you're landing on dry rock. But back to those reef hour days, I was just rolling around in shallow water anyway and learned kind of how to bounce off the reef without hitting your head too bad. Yeah. Yeah, definitely some close calls out there, but I feel like I know the wave and the shelf so well now that like I can position myself in some pretty dodgy spots and still kind of know where the water's going to pull off the reef and get out of there in time pretty much. But it'll catch you off guard for sure. Like we yeah, I think we'll get into it soon, but we ran the Shark Island Challenge this year, and those conditions were like some of the most challenging conditions. I just actually get in the water and shoot. That day I was on the back of a ski and on land running event operations, but for the athletes surfing, like it was a proper challenge. There was still 8 to 10 foot slabs, but they had to find them in between these like 10-foot wash throughs, which was like nearly cleaning up like a 40-foot fishing boat that we had in the channel, and like all these people trying to be out there, watch it, and like any conditions, it's going to be hectic. Like it's never going to be that friendly.
It doesn't really morph like something like shipstones as often. What is it?
It kind of does, like not to the same where shippies could be 20 to 25 foot with like 4 waves in one that like steps out. It doesn't do that. It's like a roll in, it'll have a step through the middle at White Rock where it'll gurgle and surf will have to hit that and get air through there and get blown through surge. Yeah. So it's like a 3-stage wave, and shippies are similar, like a 3-stage wave like that, but it doesn't have those monster steps like shipstones. But that's another epic place to shoot. Have you been down there?
Oh yeah, no,
it's cool.
It looks really cool.
Beautiful walk as well. Like it's honestly just a stunning coastline down there in Tassie. Yeah, we did a trip down there, me, Kip and Cam, a few years back where we camped down there. We just hiked in with very like could have definitely taken better equipment with us. We just hiked in with a big swag, cans of beer and like cans of food, and had like 40 kilos worth of gear each. But we're there for a night, so it was fine. But it's like a big steep cliff to hike in. Took us like 4 hours to get there because we had so much equipment. But it was incredible, like one of the best things I've done. We camped down at the foot of the wave and thought we were going to get washed away overnight. Like the noise of the swell overnight was like thunder. Like we all woke up at midnight, like what are we about to get washed away? Because we were probably only 100 meters away from the ocean, and got up in the morning and realized that it was kind of close to us, like where the waves are breaking, because the peak of the swell was overnight and it would have been like huge at night. And then in the morning was still like 15 foot out there, and there was no one around. Just incredible. We were just watching this like early morning shipsterns like look like a perfect point break from where we were positioned, but like 15, 20 foot barrels just for probably an hour before the first boat arrived. So it was pretty special to see that with no one around.
It's so nice to be in those places by yourself, and just like we were talking about on the last episode, just that chasing that feeling of being so insignificant. You're just like a little ant amongst giants. It feels so cool when you have that, and it's just like you look around and holy shit, this is something special.
Yeah, the three of us just down there, like having a campfire at the end of a really good day, and just the loudest surf noise ever next to you, and just feeling so weightless. I don't know, it's a special feeling being out there.
So I know you said Shark Island's one of your favourite waves. What would you say is your favourite coastline in Oz?
It'd have to be the East Coast, which is the islands on the East Coast. So just the variety of it. Like you go north and you just have perfect point breaks. Like I love to ride a longboard. I love surfing a longboard in nice long point break gentle conditions. I feel like I get rattled in the surf enough shooting, so I hunt those nice, friendly, playful waves on a longboard, which is just what the East Coast has up north. You just go as far as Noosa and further, and you just have beautiful waves up there, and then travel down, just gets into slab territory from the Central Coast and south. And I feel like Cronulla's where it starts to just get really heavy. Like the slabs just begin, and then the deeper south you get on the East Coast, the slabs get more gnarly and get angrier. And yeah, I think the variety and access of that, like you can just drive 10 hours north to a beautiful Point Break, or 6 hours south from here and have a gnarly slab. So I think the East Coast is pretty special in that way. And we both grew up on it. It's a beautiful place. Like Depot, but we've talked about camping down there since we were grommets. And then like 5-6 years later, finding out there's just a crazy slab out there. And I had no idea when we'd camp down there. It was just like this mist. Oh yeah, I think there's waves out there. I think Tom and maybe even you kayaked out there a few times.
I was going to touch on that.
Did you get rolled out there once?
No, but we had, I think my old man had bought an inflatable kayak from Anaconda.
Yeah.
And most of the crew went out to the island to jump in, hop his coffin and have fun there.
Yeah.
And Tom and I paddled out to the wave, to the bommy, to check it out. And it wasn't like insane, but we got caught out. So you got like the main wave where it breaks, but it sort of rolls through. We were pretty far away from where it was breaking. And I think a seal flopped next to us. I'm like, oh fuck, is that a shark? And then all of a sudden, yeah, same thing, like whitewash is just coming at us. And we're like, oh fuck. We just like turn around. Luckily, we've both done a fair bit of kayaking. We're still nervous, but yeah, we just pointed it straight and managed to surf this wave, which was still like probably like 6 foot of whitewash, and we were way out there. And yeah, we managed to just surf it and we were fine. We got back and the parents were so grumpy at us. They were so angry.
I remember coming back and hearing your story, and the two of you were like, yeah, we caught a wave out there. Like,
yeah.
Because that's the thing, it's just a big open bommy. It can be flat, and then there can be a 6 foot wave just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was rowdy. It was pretty cool. Good story.
It's just super pretty. Like Hopper's Coffin as well. People have no idea what that is. It's just this little island off Depot, which I think you boys named, and it was just this like coffin cut out in the rocks that would like pulse up and down, so the water would suck you up over this shelf and then you'd go back down. And again, it's just us playing around, rolling around on rocks and in the surf.
Yeah, trying to explain that to people. They're just like, why would you do that? And like the older I get, the sillier it sounds, but it's so much fun.
So much fun.
And like, as soon as it would sweep you out into the ocean, it just drops off so deep and it felt so sharky and spooky. You just paddle as fast as you can to get back to the reef. But had really fun cliff jumps into this slot as well. So it was just like, if the surf wasn't good, it was like a fun spot to go.
Yeah. No, good times. Yeah, the East Coast is awesome. Like, just so much fun to be had up and down the coast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so lucky to have our families that let us do that.
Definitely, yeah. Trust us enough to just go and swim out to an island for the day and come back, hopefully return unscathed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to, on that topic, touch on like your support network. I know your mum, Marg, has always been like a pretty big fan of mine as well. I really appreciate that. But what's your support network like, and what does that mean to you?
Definitely mum is a big one. She's been there, like I mentioned earlier, since the start, really pushed my career and wanted me to pursue photography since she could see my interest in it. So she's been my number one supporter since day dot, and I can't thank her enough for pushing me and just supporting me and helping me along the way. Like, I wouldn't have ever got that first job at the newspaper if it wasn't for her emailing VG, and that's where my career began. And then any decision to go, and she hates it, but anytime I say I'm going on a surf trip, she hates it because she's just so worried for my well-being. She knows that the risk it involves, and she's still there. And the last couple of tracks covers I got, I've never felt that amount of love and support from her, and she just knows how much that meant to me. And yeah, she's definitely number one in the support.
Yeah, your mum's incredible. I wanted to touch on that as well. I know, yeah, mum doesn't love what I do, and she was like, a lot of people will be like, how do you let him do that? But like, can't stop me.
Yeah,
she just supports you.
Come home and
knows you love it.
You should probably skip the first half of this podcast and not listen to that story.
I was saying from mum, I was like, you're not going to like all these stories I've never told you. But It'll be all right.
Yeah. But yeah, our mums all knew each other really well, and that's how we know each other. And yeah, cool little family tree there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess support network as well. My sister's a huge one. So family is so important. And Emily had a lot of agency experience and helped me in my career in a big way through photography and just taking it to a new level pretty much. So I went on a big holiday to Europe about 5-6 years ago, and I didn't want to lose my clients basically. So she just helped me on emails and just wrote emails and booked a few other photographers while I was away, and then organically just worked really well. She saw the potential in me as a photographer, as well as a career in the production world pretty much, and her support through where I am now and still letting me go and travel and chase swells at a drop of a hat, and while we're still trying to run a production company is commendable. So I appreciate her kind of love and support from the beginning.
Pretty cool. And do you want to mention what awa means? I only recently read into that.
Yeah, so awa is the word for siblings. So in Maltese, I should add. So we're Maltese. Mum is one of 14 kids. Her family moved out here. She was the firstborn in Australia. So 7 kids born in Malta. She was firstborn here. So that blood runs strong through us. We've both visited back to Malta a few times and love it there. It feels like home. And Em and I were trying to think of a company name for so many years, really. We were like, in the beginning, it was just my name, Sam Venn Photography, SVP. This place is called SV Place. Kind of sounds so weird, hard to think. But we found the word awa, which is siblings in Maltese. And we've built a foundation off that. And it's been cool.
Yeah, it's a cool name. It's catchy as well.
Yeah, thank you. Some people struggle to pronounce it, but break it down, it's not that hard.
Yeah, separate it. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So what would you say is your favorite thing to shoot, or like some of your favorite things, because you're quite diverse in your shooting?
Yeah, well, apart from surfing, that's definitely always my number one to shoot. But automotive, as I touched on before, I love the adventure you can kind of portray through cars and shooting them in, especially forward driving. Yeah, that world is a fun one for me, just being able to go out and explore, especially Australia, and in these cars, and just get to really remote places to shoot these vehicles in different locations. Yeah, it's a fun one to shoot for sure.
Yeah, and you bought basically one of the best cups to do that as well.
Yeah, to get a tourer to explore the country with. So I got a trip carrier, that I plan to maybe next year or the following year do a trip around Australia. That's kind of why I've been building it, and I want to explore the lands and find more waves and meet people out on the road and see the country that is our backyard. So had to get a good tourer for that. Yeah.
I used to have a Troopy myself. They're the best.
What do you got, the Amarok now?
Yeah, it's just good for what I'm doing. It's good for everything.
Yeah.
Troopy I had an older one, so it was a bit of a slug, and I remember every time I'd catch like a set of lights or something, I'd be like, damn it. I think it was 18, 19, and I could barely afford it.
It slows you driving down a bit, having one of these big cars.
It's good. They're good for that.
Yeah.
And they just feel like a nice old farm truck.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It's the best for driving beaches, and like up at Crescent and the North Coast, just getting to those back beaches, camping up overnight. It's so much fun.
So nice to, just like sleep in the back easily. I have to like put the tailgate now.
Yeah. Oh, true. I think you've shown me your setup. It's still cool.
It works pretty well.
Yeah.
And like I keep the back empty so I can fill it with work gear as well. Pretty versatile.
Yeah, it's good.
But one of the cool things about the cars or automotive thing is you can build the surf into that story as well in the commercial world.
Definitely, yeah. I think surfing is so marketable in Australia. Like a majority of our country is coastal, and selling that culture into everyone is like, it's easy pretty much. The surf world is like, very marketable. People want to see it. People want to know about it. And the more involved you are, the more organic it's going to look to people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I got my choice of sport wrong for work.
No, you grew up in the mountains.
No snow in Australia.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's right. That's why I kept going to North America. But oh well. I would love to surf a bit more. I originally moved to Wollongong with like the idea of getting after it a bit more.
Yeah.
But tore my meniscus. Found out that yesterday.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah, so I have to get surgery.
Oh, no.
No Canada this year, but
No
that's
good.
right. I've actually been fine. Like I've been working on it, but apparently it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Don't want to make it any worse.
Yeah, I can get arthritis.
Just bodyboard. You don't need your knees for that. It can just lay down.
Apparently that's why it's like a rare case because I'm doing pretty well.
How did you know that? Just start niggling.
I got an MRI because it popped when I was climbing. And then I was like, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, my physio was like, if you hadn't got an MRI, I think you'd be doing fine. But the MRI looks really nasty. So, yeah. Anyway, didn't mean to dive into that. But maybe on that topic, like, have you had any pretty nasty injuries? I know you said your back and your skin graft and stuff.
Yeah. Nothing too major. Like I said, my finger from the island, like went to duck dive, got it caught on a big barnacle and tore through my middle finger here and ripped out half my nail and nail bed, and they had to get a skin graft for my forearm. And they said 50-50 if you'll grow a nail back on that finger, which it did. It came back pretty well.
Nice.
Luckily. But yeah, other scars from the reef, nothing too major. Touch wood.
Yeah.
Don't
Absolutely.
want to jinx it. But,
Touch wood for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. What's been your favorite project you've worked on in film and photography?
I can dive into a quick little cool one, which is nice. I've been shooting with Google and YouTube for the past like 5 or 6 years. And 3 or 4 years ago, Google came to me and said, can you scuba dive? And I was like, nope, but I'll learn. They're like, oh, we need some content captured of them mapping the reef underwater. So if you go to Ningaloo Reef in Western Australia, you can actually go and see the reef underwater because they've mapped it all. Yeah. And they needed press photos of the photographer capturing the reef. So I literally 1 week from getting that email, got my dive ticket. I went and did it straight away that week. And then they flew me out to Exmouth in WA to go shoot that. And that was a pretty cool project. Yeah. I was just like, learned how to dive and got to shoot underwater in the Barrier Reef, like Google Earth. I'm actually in one of the photos. It's pretty funny. You can go to Ningaloo Reef and go underwater, and the guy said, he's like, do you want to be in a photo? And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. So then you can actually see me in one of the underwater photos.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'd love to learn to dive a bit better. I'd like to go to Tonga and shoot with the blue whales.
It's kind of scary, to be honest. Like going deep with a tank, it's just spooky. It's like so much could go wrong and you can't like get back to the surface that easily. It's scary.
Yeah, I've only done a little bit in Fiji when I was young, and I went to like 10 meters. But even like 10 meters doesn't sound very deep. But
no,
like,
it is.
When you go down 10 meters, you're like,
huge.
oh. And so like going, yeah, some people are diving so deep. And then free diving's insane.
Been free diving a little bit. Definitely not an expert or anything, but my housemate's a really avid diver and been diving for crays and fish lately, just out the front in Cornell, and
Like
good fun.
Yeah. Well, do you want to touch on that method you wish you'd learnt earlier?
Yeah. So, I feel bad. I think his name's Shane from Shark Eyes. I was telling him the story of that down in Lunas. I think we were on our way to Ship's Turns on another swell. Basically, he told me the Harper technique, instead of just gasping like one big breath, like your lungs are limited to how much oxygen it can get. So instead you go, so say like Harper, and you take short, big breaths and you fill up your lungs more. It's expanding them. So then you can have more time underwater essentially.
That's cool.
So I didn't know that technique at the time. Even just doing it then, like I could feel the amount of oxygen going to my brain. I got more just doing like 3 Harpers, and definitely have utilized that in other conditions in the last little bit since knowing that. So appreciate that little wealth. That was just a 2-minute conversation on a plane to a swell.
Made your life a bit better.
Yeah, could have saved my life. Who knows?
It's pretty cool. Little tips like that make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you learnt anything with the freediving that sort of keeps you a bit more calm?
I haven't been doing it long enough. Like it's just been a little fun weekend dive for the last couple months. So I haven't learned too many techniques, but it definitely is a good way to slow down and just like lay on the bottom of the ocean for a little bit and just be calm and look around, basically just see the fish swim by and the kelp swaying and feel the motion, but from the bottom of from the ocean floor.
That's so cool, and the light refracts really cool across all the kelp, and it's just like a whole nother world that most people never even think about.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It feels like another world, and different coastlines as well. Like you go far south and it's different kelp, different fish. It's a whole new world underwater down south, and same with up north, like more sand and different fish. I'm definitely keen to do some more diving. It's great for your lung capacity and helping with swimming in big water.
If you could do anything for a weekend, what would it be? Like, what's your favorite way? Would it be logging and longboarding? Sorry for people.
Yeah, North Coast trip longboarding would be ideal. If not like chasing a slab down south or something, then nice relaxing log at Crescent Head or something. Take the troopy up there and go camp with the girlfriend and the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, unreal. I think Crescent Head's probably a bit busy now, but
Other good point breaks up there. Or you can just drive down the back beach and it's pretty quiet.
we'll try not to give any secrets away.
Yeah. It's all pretty much given away. Everyone
Yeah, I
knows
know.
that coastline now.
I think we might have covered this already. There's like Studio Awa, Wen Waihu, and the name. But do you want to just give me a rundown on the whole thing?
Yeah, so like I said, it was started with Emily, my sister, officially Studio Hour 2 years ago, but she started with me like 5 years ago. We're now a team of 4. There's Grace and Nick. Grace is a full-time producer and Nick's a full-time videographer. Both really close friends of mine, which is really cool. We could just like join forces and know each other in and out of work, which sometimes make things difficult, but most of the time easy because we know how we all operate. And I've studied with Nick and creatively know, like we have similar ideas, and half the time we could just look at each other and we'll just know what we're talking about. Like we don't even need to say anything, but we kind of just get it.
It's just synergy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good synergy. But yeah, it's just been a really good organic growth since the beginning, and I'm keen to see where it takes us. I've been loving directing a little bit more, and from the beginning of a project, client comes to us and I'll go back to them with a director's treatment and be like, this is my vision and this is how I'd like to portray it through the lens, and doing more of that I'd love to do with the company. And I think we're getting the opportunity now with clients that they trust us a bit more and we can have our own pathway with projects. So keen to do more of that.
Would you say you have like a favorite in terms of like creative or production or post?
Creative and the actual capture, I think. Just the initial, like, just racking your brain going, how is this going to work? And just being like, what does the client want to see? But how can it still be interesting to an audience? And working that out from the beginning. The creative is, it's a lot of fun and it's really challenging to just stretch yourself and challenge what you can do.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a pretty fun process.
Yeah.
What would you say, have you got like a 5-10 year goal for yourself and Awa?
Yeah, well, like I just touched on, I think directing's a place I'd love to go more into, and storytelling. Like I feel like through photography, that's been a way that I could capture a single photo and still tell a whole story behind that, still have all this emotion through one photo that can then tell a full story. And I think now working alongside Nick and having 2 amazing producers, I think we could do some really cool storytelling projects and documentaries. And there's a few stories that I'd love to touch on and tell eventually.
So basically for me as well, like that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, is like the idea of storytelling. And there's so many people with cool stories, and like you're kind of limited with film. Obviously it's much cooler to shoot a whole film and tell the story that way, and it's beautiful, but like you're limited by speed of that process as well. So I thought, you never know how life's going to go, and if that person's always around. So there's some people I'd like want to get their story down somewhere, because no one knows it, and like there's so many humble people with these crazy stories. But yeah, same thing, I'd love to direct in 10 years. I'd say for me I'll try and work a bit more in lighting and DP, and then direct and DP is my goal.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think understanding the process is something I could definitely, like, learning every day still, and like every project I'm on, and I haven't assisted that much, so I feel like I'm learning from scratch. Like I haven't been on huge productions. I've just kind of learned a lot of it on my own, which has been both humbling and challenging and enjoyable and stressful all at the same time, because you just kind of feel like you're faking it till you're making it. But it's the directing world will be good fun to get into.
For sure. I'd say, it's like building that big pyramid before you're at the top, and you don't want to skip all the phases to get there.
Yeah.
But one of the challenges with like assisting for ages is like changing people's perspective of you as well. Like they'll narrow you into being an assistant for ages. So that's like something you probably avoided that's good. Like you'll always be looked at as a shooter.
Yeah.
For anyone watching, either way is awesome. I know like I like to steal people's knowledge. That's basically all I'm doing when I'm working in lighting. I'm just like stealing a little bit from this DP or a little bit from that one. And then later, hopefully I can use it.
Definitely.
But yeah, let's do whatever works for you.
Yeah. It's funny where I got a lot of like that lighting experience was just being a photographer on sets for Google and YouTube. Like they did all these studio shoots through COVID, and I was just like a fly on the wall, but still just taking everything in, seeing how directors were speaking to gaffers, seeing how everyone was operating in that big production world, and it was super helpful in running our own productions.
I think that fly on the wall approach is quite cool. That's why I noticed like working in lighting can be better than being in an AC. So working in camera as an AC, because often when you're shooting, you're running around and doing things with the camera and you're not taking it all in. Whereas like with the lighting, you'll set and then watch the camera team work.
I feel like communicating with your crew as well. Like Tommy Key's biggest legend of a gaffer. He's just another surfer and like-minded dude who half the time I feel like I don't even make any sense, but he still lights it to the exact way that I kind of imagined before I got there on set. And like having those people around you that just understand is super helpful.
Absolutely. I got a couple of stats on AI. I was going to talk about AI because that's definitely something that's going to impact us a little bit. But yeah, basically, before I dive into some of the stats, how do you feel with AI? Like, are you using any of it in Photoshop or I know like even with this podcast, I recently found out there's Adobe podcast, and like if a audio file is not perfect, you can put that in with a clean file and it'll just like match it for you. So you could have like bad iPhone clip quality and then a shotgun like we've got now, and then just slide it in and you'll be like, whoa.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. It's like the way we're going and there's no ignoring it. And I feel like just rolling with the punches and moving with the times and actually educating yourself with the technology is really important. And I'm definitely using it. It's like helps me so much. I think I'm editing a job right now. Well, AI is editing a job right now on my computer.
Yeah, right.
Like I've got software that culls an event from like people blinking, blurry photos, if accidents, photo of the floor, all that shit. It just cuts it all down and gives me my final 600 photos from like 2,000 photos. And then it's created a profile for me, which I've had to load in like 30,000 edited photos, which then creates my own personal profile. And then I have like an events, a wedding, more stylized one, and you load it through that, and then it just punches them out. And half the time, I honestly think it edits better than I do. Like it knows my style and my eye better than I will, and I'll look through them and I'll be like, sweet. It'll take 20 minutes to edit a whole job, where it used to take me a day.
Fire out.
So it's just like streamlining my post-production process in an amazing way. Like retouching and repairing, removing a pole or lines on the road is just seamless and so much quicker and smarter than it used to be like a year ago or 5 years ago. Like
I know recently I was just like, I'm going to get rid of this number plate and just draw a circle around it, gone.
Yeah.
Whereas it takes like half an hour sometimes to get it clean, and like trying to gradient the way the light's reflected is just like pretty damn hard.
That's it. Like the understanding it has of light bouncing off things is not just grabbing an object that looks close by it and then understands like reflections, and
yeah, it's crazy.
It's hard to fathom, but it's pretty incredible. Yeah.
What's that program you said you were using?
It's called Imagine AI.
Right.
Yeah.
Even like just for the image sharpening, if you got like a blurry photo, you could somehow save it with some of the products out there. I haven't used them yet, but
there's so many tools.
It's wild.
But then it's also like how you want to allow AI to like tailor your own unique style, because you can still put a twist on any specific job, but AI is just going to do it how you last did it, if that makes sense. So that I feel like creatively you need to have the forefront of being like every job slightly different from the last.
Yeah.
Still like having your own unique style from the last job, but it still can be slightly unique in each way. And AI is just kind of slightly limiting in a way that it's a third party essentially just doing it the exact way you've trained it instead of like tweaking that training.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is Grace using it in scheduling and stuff like that as well?
I don't know if they're using it in a production way at all, if they're using ChatGPT or anything for emails. I don't think so. Her and Emily are both pretty literate and very cluey people in writing emails. Should say my one-line emails, and they're like, what does that even mean?
I recently saw a meme and it was like how guys email versus how women email, and it was, we're so blunt and just like, can you do this for me?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I need to learn to be a bit more like, please throw a few more please and thank yous in there. I think it's just like, this needs to be done. Yeah.
For me, I was trained by a landscaper, like 8 years as a landscaper, and he was just so brutal. He'd just be like, hurry up, do this. Oh, you fuck that, you're an idiot. And and then I've definitely tried to remove that from my way of thinking, but I don't fluff things. So I'm not like, oh, I know you're trying really hard, but could you try do it this way? Like, I'm just like, I'll just do that.
Got to show your appreciation in other ways. When
Yeah,
for
sure. Like,
especially in a team aspect, like they know I appreciate everything they do.
Yeah.
And I just need to be to the point. I need to time save and get things across the line in a blunt way. But
yeah, I always have to like do a little warning. I'm like, if I'm blunt, I don't mean it.
Yeah.
It's just how I am.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't take it that way.
Directing as well, you come across pretty savage sometimes, and you just have to get a point across. You're like trying to manage so many people at one time, like a camera operator and a talent and gaffer and client, and you're just in the middle of all of this. And to get that done, you just need to be a little bit blunt sometimes.
Yeah. And then if you are doing some scheduling as well, if you stretch that thin, it's a lot to deal with. What else? AI. I don't know if I'll talk about negatives of that.
No, I don't have much more to touch on AI. Like I wish I knew more about it to talk about it.
Yeah. I know it's definitely impacted a lot of writers in terms of like they're using it for writing in the US now.
Yeah.
So creative directors and that sort of stuff, it's impacting them in a bad way.
Yeah. I was speaking to another photographer. I hope he doesn't, I'm not going to name his name or anything, but he was telling me that he uses it for concepting shoots. Like he'll just say, I've got this vague idea, and then ChatGPT would just flesh it out. He'll just be like, I know, red car in like an urban rooftop. What else could I do or something? And ChatGPT would just come back to him with like all these other ideas that he could then build on. He's like, oh, I don't like this, but maybe this.
Yeah, it's nuts. And it remembers everything you said. And but yeah, I know ChatGPT recently learned like the amount of energy used in that versus a Google search is like astronomically more. I think it was at least 20 times more energy. So that's like the main downside is we'll have to work out how to make it more efficient.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that till doing a bit more research. So it uses a crazy amount of energy to actually pump out these responses and answers.
I actually asked ChatGPT to tell me about how AI is going and what it's doing. And it said the McKinsey's research suggests that 50% of current work activities could be automated with existing technology. And that was in 2021.
Wow.
So it doesn't mean 50% of jobs are replaced, but most of the tasks could be automated.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
People still have to operate those automated tasks, but
got to learn to prompt now. So basically, like it could create what we've got here, like 85 million jobs could be displaced by a shift in the division of labor between humans and machines. However, this could also lead to the creation of 97 million new jobs.
Yeah.
So it's not all bad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like,
just got to adapt.
because I sit in and photograph a lot of events for corporates, and 90% of the time now it's all AI. Like yesterday I did a 10-hour event all about AI. And they always kind of circle back to creativity, and like the person driving that software still has to have a creative motive going in the first place. And I think us as creatives, will still drive that technology for a long time.
For sure.
And I think it's a long way off till there's going to be a physical robot in the corner of a room or actually operating a camera. Like, as long as we can still operate the software in cameras and have like the forefront of knowing how to use this technology, then we'll be fine. Like, we have to have the ideas to bring it to life. And I think AI is changing the game radically already, but I don't think it's touched creatives too much. As long as you have these ideas.
Yeah. I think it's something we can just work with and it'll make our lives better. What would you say is one of your most proud achievements, Sam?
It's got to be recently with the tracks covers, I think.
Yeah, pretty
That's
damn
just
cool.
lifelong goal, honestly, just chasing waves my whole life since I was 16. Like, that was the peak. That was just, if I can get my photo on the front page of a surfing magazine, I'll have made it. Like, I'll just be, ecstatic. And this year landing 2 for Tracks magazine was mind blowing. I'd had no idea that I'd even get 1 this year, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I've been submitting for 10 years my surf photos, and then all of a sudden it's been 6 months and I've got 2 covers, and I think that's a pretty proud achievement for me. And a lot, thank you. I'm stoked. A lot's gone into it. Like, chasing swell is just like a time consuming and can set you back a lot of the time, and you might fly across the globe. Like, I've done multiple Bali trips, and Kip will laugh that we have a curse over there and I'll never get a good swell there, because both times we've been there on commission for Rip Curl and didn't score perfect waves. It was just like a fun trip, but the waves weren't exactly what we wanted, and we were there to shoot surf, and unfortunately just Mother Nature didn't provide. And so much time and effort goes into researching different swells and surf spots around the globe and locally, and to actually line one up and get a shot that ends up on the front of a magazine is more than just like a photo. It's like a full-on process from early days.
Yeah, congrats, that's huge.
Thank
Pretty
you.
cool. I know, like even just getting a cover is a big deal. Let alone
You've had one, haven't you, for some?
Yeah, a couple of like climbing stuff. I'm pretty lazy with my editorial stuff. I used to enter. I haven't entered stuff for a long while.
It's hard to keep on top. Like, I'd love to keep submitting to awards, and I just submitted for Surf Photo of the Year this year, that Surfing Australia run, and I was nominated last year, and that would be a crazy achievement again this year.
For sure.
It's hard to keep on top of. There's so much out there, and I feel like I'm so critical on my own work that I like that cover of Tracks. I nearly uploaded to Instagram. I like nearly uploaded a slider. I was like, oh yeah, just
It's all right.
another barrel kind of thing, like another barrel shot,
Absolutely.
whatever. And then sent them this gallery, and a week later, they're like, potential cover. And I'm like, shit, here we go.
Wicked.
Yeah,
it catches you off guard. You get like, maybe not complacent's the right word, but you just kind of, you just get so used to your own work, you don't like really get that excited sometimes.
I'm just critical. I'm like, oh, it's not tack sharp, or it's like composure's not bang on, or the light's not perfect. But I feel like that's just growth. That's just,
That makes us better as well.
Exactly.
Like,
it's good being critical.
keeps you hungry.
Yeah.
I know I definitely do that too. I'm just, people, especially if like you're working with someone and they haven't had that photo taken before, and like maybe it's a skier and they've got a shot and they're like, oh, so sick, and for you it's just another ski shot.
Yeah.
And they're like mind blown. It's really nice to see how much it impacts them.
Yeah, definitely. Getting that positive response from people is like, it's why you do it.
What would you say is some of your big life lessons? Have you had any moments where you really learnt from? Like, it was,
I feel like for me, when I was younger, I was really like gun ho and just go and shoot, get it done. And I had maybe one instance which really slowed me down. And I think that would probably be a big like life advice for me. It was just to slow things down when shooting. Just like think about what I'm there to capture. Yeah. And again, that my mentor, like Mitch Pearson, taught me that back in the day with, I was like, how do you just get a really stable surf photo? I'm like, all mine are like, I can't get it like composed properly. Like it's really hard out there when the surf's big. Like he's just like, take a deep breath. You know how to tread water. You know what you're out there to do. Just focus on what you're out there for and get the shot basically, and just slow things down and just really think about why you're there. And it translates across to commercial jobs. Anything I'm doing now, I just like, what am I trying to capture today? What am I doing? You know your equipment, you know the crew around you and what you're meant to do. Just think about it and get it done. And don't rush things. I think when I was younger, one instance, I was shooting real estate, set up my tripod really quickly, turned around to go grab my flash. I hadn't set up my tripod properly and it just toppled. Camera smashed in front of the client and I was just rattled. I like broke my camera in front of the client. Like, what are you meant to do? I don't have a backup at the time. I like called the guy I was working for and apologized and explained. And I was just this like 17-year-old kid, just like rushing around trying to probably shoot 4 houses of real estate in a day. And that was a big eye opener to just be like, your equipment's there, set it up properly. Think about what you're doing. Yeah. Don't smash your camera in front of a client.
That's a good lesson for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I actually had a tripod go down once.
It's the worst feeling.
I was in a garden architecture thing and just the leg.
Yeah.
Looked at. Luckily it didn't break the camera, but it broke my trigger for my flash. It was like $400 as well.
Mine landed lens first on tiles. Did not end well.
Yuck. Yeah. It's not nice. Yeah, definitely don't rush. That's why I remember learning like pretty much straight away, ACing, like if you go past someone on a camera or something, I'll look them in the eyes until they say got before I let go. And it can be awkward because you'll just be looking at them and they're like, oh, sorry, got. And you're like, just checking because you don't want to drop that camera, especially when like ends up being like 200K in your hand or more.
Exactly. And you don't have a backup. And like you could have a crew of 15 people there on the day and you break that camera, the day's done. Like,
yeah, don't rush. That's a good one for sure.
And I think that helps with your breathing, especially in shooting big surf. It's like you slow it down, you know where you are, you know your surroundings. And I feel like to a T now in big surf, I like feel really in control, which is nice. And that's just from slowing everything down and knowing my main motive to why I'm out there.
Yeah, I feel like that taking a big breath is pretty handy in a lot of shooting. Like I know with like a long lens, if it's any movement through the tripod or camera, you'll feel it. Yeah, you just gotta like do the sniper breath basically. Yeah. Get your shot.
Exactly. Yeah, full on sniper breath. I've done it at weddings, and I'll be like, I'll be panting after. I'll be like, how long did I just hold my breath for?
Yeah, imagine people just watch you like, oh, that guy's, what's he doing?
The photographer just passed out. What's wrong with him?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. Especially, long lens for sure. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Yeah. I'd say communication's huge. I learned that from a lot of people, but especially Cam Batten. I remember in Namibia, he was just calling me out on like any communication I wasn't perfect on. Yeah, right. Because he's always working with choppers and that's key, especially in those high risk environments or when there's radio comms. Yeah. I shot this one job where I was in a chopper and the athlete was running and jumping off a hot air balloon at 10,000 feet. It was chaos. Wow. Like we got up and it was beautiful, but the athlete didn't want to have comms to me. So basically he left the radio at the top, talked to his pilot, then his pilot talked to my pilot that he was going to jump, right? Which is 3 steps that sucked. So I basically didn't know when he was going to jump. I had this like, because the weather was, pretty windy at 10,000 feet. Like we'd only get these quick passes with the balloon and you couldn't hover the chopper at that altitude. Plus it makes the vibration way worse. And I remember I'd framed it up and it was perfectly in frame, but he jumped earlier than I thought he'd jump. So I still got the shot and we had to like crop in to get it perfect. Yeah. But like the 10 seconds after that was mint, like had it perfectly. And then I didn't even realize like he jumped and I was like, oh. And then they were like, how'd you go? And I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to check the footage. And I just felt so shit for that hour until I checked it and I was like, we got it. I was like, why couldn't I have just had comms direct to the athlete?
Definitely, yeah.
Big deal.
Definitely. Yeah, communication is a big one. Every way in life, like relationships with friends, family,
Absolutely.
partners,
Everything.
workplace, just being super clear on what's needed and how you're feeling and what you need to do. Yeah, it's a big part. That's why you need a team around you that's like communicates well.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge factor.
Yeah.
I know with skiers, I've had times where they've just skied without getting an all clear from me.
Yeah.
And you're like,
how am I meant to
we
click
just
record?
missed the shot. I was like, no one told you to go. Like you didn't get that on the radio. And that sucks because they've just like put a line through this beautiful line that was all framed up nice, and you can't, like, with skiing you want it to be untouched snow. Yeah, I've had that happen before and it sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask, do you have any like random tips or like something you think everyone should know, whether that's like surf or personal? It could be anything. It could be like finance, something you know that could change someone's life if they hadn't heard it before.
Yeah. Take risks, I think. Like early days of my career, I just might have to say no to a shoot or a commercial project to go and chase a swell. And at that point in time, it seems like you're doing the wrong thing, taking a big risk, but I think it pays off. Not all the time. I'm not going to say that if you go and blow off a job and go surfing, you're going to get more work later down the path, but I think it builds a profile for you to chase these moments that are different from the rest. Like you're going to have these opportunities to shoot a commercial, or not all the time, but taking those risks to do something that you wouldn't usually do. Yeah. And I think in my case, it has paid off. Like it's built a profile for me in travel photography and surf and lifestyle. And that's why clients want to book you in the end, is because you have this kind of background of knowledge of just like interesting imagery and cool adventures. And
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like just backing yourself as well.
Yeah.
Like I know, like you said before, like fake it till you make it. Sometimes, a lot of the time in our world, people want to see evidence you've done this before. Like, and you might know. Like for me, I've been on enough sets and enough jobs as an assistant. I know I could shoot that perfectly fine, but I don't have the folio for it. And the client will be like, "Can you do it?" And they'll be like, "Absolutely, I can do it."
Yeah, exactly.
I back myself, but like I don't have that evidence for you, so you're gonna have to trust me.
Take those risks to shoot things you wouldn't usually shoot and just experiment too. I think a lot of my career, I've just taken a camera along to weird and wonderful things and created images that I love and I hate, and I don't know if I love or hate them. And I would have never like learned that about myself if I hadn't actually just gone out and taken that photo.
For sure. And I'd say like on taking risks, if you just like starting a conversation with someone, especially like for me, I've been an introvert as like growing up. I've definitely tried to work on that.
Yeah.
But like one conversation could change your whole life.
Yeah.
And you could just sit there and be like, no, I don't want to, I'm scared.
Yeah.
But you just ask someone something and it could lead to all these good things. So
Definitely. I think listening as well, like just listening to your peers and those around you about what they have to say. It also surrounding yourself with people that you want to listen to. You can't just listen to those who you don't actually agree with their opinion, because it's just going to negatively affect you. And I think surrounding yourself, Mum always said, surround yourself with people who are better than you. Yeah. And you'll just learn. And I think that's a great bit of advice. And I think about that all the time. And if there's people around me that I look up to, then I'm going to feed off them and their energy and just learn and improve as a person and in a career.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the same sort of concept as like the 5 people around you shape who you are. And if you'll definitely see it. Like I know I'll go to Canada and do my ski season and I get pulled more towards being a ski bum.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm in Sydney, I get more pulled towards shooting better and like training harder and all that sort of stuff.
Finding a balance of that though, like I wish I could just travel the world surfing all the time and live off that, but also the growth from the company and not just shooting surf has been great. And it's just like taught me so much about myself and just have a wealth of knowledge of growing up in Sydney around just being able to shoot all these different things.
For sure. I recently heard your diet's not just what you eat, but it's what you consume visually as well. Whatever you're watching on your phone will shape how you think and how you feel. So try and surround yourself with good resources as well.
Yeah, it's a dangerous tool, but also like an incredible tool.
Yeah.
Because we use it in so many ways and we feed our brain with so much media these days. Good and the bad. You just have to, really tailor what you watched so it's affecting you in a good way.
For sure. Yeah. I think we'll wrap it up with one last question, Sam. So now you got to go. If you could sit down with anyone from any period of time, who would it be?
Yeah, I think Ted Grambo, he's a pretty incredible surf photographer and has been around for a long, long time and would have some incredible stories and some knowledge and wisdom to share in both life and surf photography and travel. And I think we have sat down and we've shared some stories before and that trip to Tahiti, but I'd love to spend some more time with him and get to know him and find out more. And I think the ocean kind of draws a lot of good people together. And I think he has been traveling around photographing surfers and the ocean as a whole for a long time. And I'd just love to know some more stories about that.
Sounds like an incredible bloke. I'll definitely have to look him up.
For sure, yeah.
And I'll find his link somewhere here as well.
Big shout out to TGB here.
I'm going to try to link everything throughout the video. And on that note, I'll pop up Sam's links so you can follow his journey and his story and studio hour as well. But thanks so much for joining me, Sam. Really appreciate it.
Stoked. That was good.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Here's the part where I ask all that cringy shit that no one wants to hear. But if you could do the whole like, share, subscribe, comment, send it to a mate, that'd go a long way. PayPal me $1 million if you want, just so I can bring you some more episodes much faster. That would be really appreciated. Thank you.